Encountering a narcissist is like stepping into a complex psychological labyrinth where you are constantly challenged and judged. From the very first meeting, beneath their charming appearance and sweet words, they are like seasoned hunters, silently observing and analyzing their prey. Their sharp eyes scrutinize, seeking to uncover two key things. First, do you possess something they desire, a new toy, to satisfy their bottomless selfishness, or a fresh source of energy to feed their insatiable ego? Second, are you someone who can be easily subdued, a naive soul who can be manipulated with sweet talk and sophisticated tricks? If the answer to both questions is yes, congratulations, you have officially entered their playground. A series of cunning psychological games will unfold before you, like a mesmerizing magician's act, drawing you into confusion and gradually causing you to lose yourself. But don't worry just yet. Together we'll lift the veil of mystery, uncover each game, and expose the tactics that narcissists love to use. This way you can arm yourself with a strong psychological shield, confidently step into the labyrinth, and win the game. Now let's begin with the first game. A seemingly simple one, yet full of hidden schemes. The push-pull game. Imagine you're playing a game where the rules constantly change. Sometimes you win big, and other times you walk away empty-handed. That feeling of disappointment, confusion, and an insatiable desire to win keeps you coming back for more, doesn't it? This is known as intermittent reinforcement, a subtle yet powerful tactic narcissists often deploy. They're like a slot machine, sometimes showering you with affection and attention, leaving you euphoric, only to become cold and distant, plunging you into a pit of hurt. You never know when the next reward will come, or how significant it will be. This unpredictability creates an emotional whirlwind, making you crave those sweet moments and do whatever it takes to hold on to them. Much like a lab rat pressing a lever for food, you keep investing on the rarefied food, allowing you to get them every time you want them. Your emotions, time, and energy into this relationship, hoping they'll reciprocate your love. But the harsh truth is, you're being manipulated. Your self-worth gradually erodes, and you find yourself depending on their approval. This tactic is so cleverly designed that it traps you in the web of a master manipulator. They sprinkle in just enough positive reinforcement, compliments, loving gestures, and special attention to keep you hooked, making you believe in the illusion of true love. Like a moth drawn to a flame, you long for the warmth of that light, even if it burns you. As a result, you become addicted to feeling loved and valued. You pour your time, effort, and even your sense of self into keeping this source of life intact. They expertly alternate between emotional rainstorms and droughts, keeping you perpetually waiting, yearning, and convinced that if you just try harder, you'll earn their genuine love. Sometimes this strategy is as simple as alternating between sweet declarations of "I love you" and icy indifference. In a relationship with a narcissist, however, it's upgraded into an initial love-bombing phase, drowning you in sweetness, followed by a cruel devaluation phase, making you question yourself and the relationship. But don't lose hope. You absolutely can escape this game. The first step is recognizing it for what it is, manipulation, and understanding that you deserve to be treated with respect and kindness. Don't let yourself remain trapped in the manipulative vortex of a narcissist. Free yourself by learning the rules of their game, identify the subtle cycles of abuse and emotional traps they set so masterfully, and use that knowledge to distance yourself from toxic relationships. Your journey to reclaim your freedom begins with equipping yourself with knowledge. By understanding how narcissists operate, you'll build a strong shield to protect yourself from unnecessary emotional harm. And if you're eager to dive deeper into the intricate strategies of manipulation, join me on my YouTube channel. There you'll find valuable insights, heartfelt stories, and practical advice to decode the psychology of narcissists and take the first steps toward healing the wounds they've inflicted on your soul. Gaslighting. Gaslighting, one of the most infamous psychological weapons in a narcissist's arsenal, is a sophisticated illusion designed to make you doubt yourself. It's like a toxic smoke that seeps into your mind, eroding your confidence, leaving you disoriented and making you easier to control. Imagine living in a world where your senses are constantly distorted, where everything you see, hear, and feel is denied or twisted. Narcissists skillfully plant seeds of doubt, making you question your own sanity. Am I losing my mind? To truly understand the magic of gaslighting, we need to delve into how narcissists infiltrate your mind with doubt. They are like master infiltrators, initially cloaked in perfection and sweet words, lulling you into a false sense of security. They watch and analyze your every move, word, and even the smallest emotional cues. Like seasoned hunters, they quickly identify your weak spots, pain in pain, unspoken insecurities, and unfulfilled desires. They mirror you, reflecting back your own image as if they were your twin flame. Feigning empathy, they pretend to care about what you love, sharing similar views and making you feel seen and accepted. But this is merely a well-crafted mask, hiding their true nature. Once they've gained your trust, the gaslighting begins. They twist the truth, deny events, and make you second-guess your reality. They'll say things like, "Sweetheart, I never said that," or "You're misunderstanding me," or even accuse you of being too sensitive. Gaslighting becomes even more dangerous when paired with the intermittent reinforcement tactic discussed earlier. It's as if you're stuck in a game of chance, where the outcomes are unpredictable. One day you're their hero, showered with praise and affection. The next you're their scapegoat, enduring unfounded accusations, emotional outbursts, and chaos. This volatility keeps you on edge, anxious to please them and avoid their wrath. In reality, this is a form of psychological training that makes you increasingly dependent on their validation. You yearn for those moments of affection and dread their criticism, driving you deeper into an emotional vortex where you lose your sense of self and become addicted to their approval. Your love for them turns into a trauma bond, intense but riddled with pain. You cling to them blindly, tolerating mistreatment out of fear of losing those fleeting moments of happiness. Gaslighting, combined with intermittent reinforcement, forms the ultimate manipulation machine. It traps you in a cycle of doubt, fear, and dependency. Recognizing this is the first step toward breaking free from this toxic game and reclaiming your independence. Have you ever experienced this kind of manipulation from a narcissist? If so, share your story in the comments so we can discuss and support each other. How did you handle it? What emotions did you feel during that time? Together we can build a strong community where no one has to face the scars of narcissistic abuse alone. Triangulation. In the emotionally manipulative world of a narcissist, there are always mysterious extraneous relationships, like lingering ghosts threatening your fragile happiness. It could be a close friend who always shows up just when they're in trouble, an ex-lover who hasn't let go, or a newly met soulmate with an inexplicably strong bond. They give this person special attention, time, energy, and even trips or significant events that should have included you. Even if you pride yourself on being rational and not jealous without reason, the presence of this ghost makes you uneasy, clearly sensing something is off. When you express your concerns, the narcissist immediately accuses you of jealousy or being controlling, leading you into a maze of self-doubt. You're torn between respecting their boundaries and feeling betrayed and replaced. Sometimes this relationship may go beyond ordinary friendship, becoming a secret affair where emotions and intimacy are shared with someone else. You feel like an unnecessary accessory, abandoned in your own relationship. Occasionally, this ghost could even be a family member, used by the narcissist as a tool to belittle and control you. They constantly compare and praise the other person, making you feel inferior and unworthy. You feel lost and isolated in your own relationship, not knowing where you stand or whether you can endure the presence of this ghost. Then the harsh truth finally comes to light, proving that your suspicions weren't baseless. Another manifestation of triangulation: divide and conquer. Imagine you're stepping into a dramatic play with 3 roles: the pitiable victim, the evil villain, and the righteous hero. The narcissist is the masterful director, skillfully manipulating the actors and script to serve their purpose. They might take on the role of the pitiable victim, claiming to have been wronged or falsely accused, seeking your sympathy and protection. Or they might become the savior, standing up to protect you from a villain they've fabricated. But no matter which role they play, they are always the real villain, pulling the strings behind the scenes and manipulating everyone. When playing the victim, the narcissist targets someone, turns them into the villain, and then badmouths and smears them to a third party, hoping to recruit this person to side with them against the villain. Conversely, when playing the hero, the narcissist turns the third party into the victim, then presents themselves as the savior, protecting them from the villain. This strategy builds alliances and creates a sense of indebtedness and dependence on the narcissist, regardless of the role they play. The ultimate goal of the narcissist is to draw you into this drama triangle. They provoke you, make you angry and reactive, then point at you and declare you the villain. What is the true purpose of divide and conquer? First, they want everyone to be at odds with each other. In such situations, they remain the sole holder of the full story, manipulating information and maintaining control. Second, they aim to undermine you, making you appear like the villain in others' eyes. By distorting the truth and spreading doubts, they leave you feeling terrible, confused, and directionless. But beneath these tactics lies an even darker motive: to conceal their true nature. Narcissists refuse to admit their own mistakes, whether it's lying, manipulating, disrespecting, criticizing, or controlling others. They refuse to face the truth that they're just ordinary humans with flaws. Rather than acknowledge and fix these issues, they create chaos and shift the blame to others. Divide and conquer is their perfect tool to divert attention, avoid responsibility, and maintain their fake, idealized image. They wear a mask of empathy. One of the most cunning tactics narcissists often employ is pretending. They skillfully wear the mask of empathy, feigning deep care and understanding for you. They make you feel as though you've finally found a kindred spirit, someone who is always ready to listen, share, and unconditionally support you. At first, they make you feel comforted by their attentiveness and thoughtfulness. They are willing to spend hours listening to your every story, from your smallest joys to your most private sorrows. That feeling of being understood is truly intoxicating, making you believe that they are the person who knows you best in the world. But behind that perfect facade, they are merely staging a performance. Their true purpose is not to help you but to gain your trust, lower your defenses, and slowly extract your secrets or vulnerability. Once they achieve their goal, their true colors begin to show. When you face difficulties, need help, or simply desire a little care in return, they will suddenly turn their back on you. The secrets you once confided in them, believing they would remain safe, are now weaponized to hurt you. During arguments, they are quick to weaponize what you've shared, using it as a tool to undermine you, leaving you confused, flustered, and feeling terrible. For this reason, always be cautious of those who appear overly enthusiastic or overly understanding from the start. Excessive attention may merely be a guise to hide their true intentions. Do not hastily place complete trust in anyone you do not truly know well, and always maintain a safe boundary in every relationship. If you notice someone exhibiting these behaviors, remind yourself it's all an act. Projection, the tactic of turning you into a mirror reflecting a narcissist's flaws, is one of the most insidious and harmful psychological manipulations they use. In the narcissist's world, everything is arranged according to a rigid rule. They are always right, and you are always wrong. They construct an image of themselves as a pitiable victim, deeply wounded, while shifting all blame and suffering onto you, casting you as the villain in their story. For ordinary people, conflicts often lead to self-reflection, an attempt to understand others' perspectives, and a desire for reconciliation. But for narcissists, this does not exist. They never admit fault. Instead, they project. all their negative traits and the aspects of themselves they cannot accept onto you. They turn you into a mirror of their flaws, causing you to doubt yourself, question your worth, and endlessly agonize in guilt. Even more frightening, they understand you well, especially your vulnerabilities, fears, and insecurities. They exploit these without mercy. You may find yourself trapped in this psychological whirlwind, believing you are wrong, needing to change, or seeking their forgiveness. But in reality, it is you who is hurt, manipulated, and exploited. Projection is not just a tactic, but a toxic psychological maneuver that can disorient you. It makes you feel as though you're not good enough, that you've lost your value, and pushes you into a state of constantly needing to prove yourself. Worse, once you're caught in this cycle, you may do everything possible to please the narcissist, not realizing they will never be satisfied. This is a vicious cycle where the narcissist maintains control while you are trapped in guilt and a loss of confidence. They use projection to keep you within their grasp, creating a toxic psychological environment that is hard to escape. However, you must remember, what they say about you is not the truth, but a way to hide their own issues. The things they blame you for might actually be what they dislike about themselves. Recognizing this will help you see through the nature of projection. You need to learn to stand firm, keep your distance, and stop letting baseless accusations undermine your self-esteem. Remember, your worth does not come from their approval. By understanding this psychological game, you can protect yourself, break free from the cycle of toxic relationships, and reclaim your confidence and self-respect. They play the cat-and-mouse game. They are master anglers, deeply familiar with their prey's psychology and knowing precisely which bait will make you fall into their trap. It's never a coincidence that they approach you. Every action is meticulously calculated to lead you step by step into the psychological snare they've laid out. Don't think the story ends when they abandon you. In reality, this could be just another part of their larger plan, a sophisticated performance designed to leave you feeling empty, uncertain, and curious. They exploit the distance to create a sense of lack within you, compelling you to take the initiative to reach out to them. They know that by dangling just a little bait, you are likely to return to them, falling once again into the web they've spun. The bait can take many forms, often simple and seemingly harmless. A brief, vague message with content that appears unrelated, an unexpected gift arriving just when you're feeling vulnerable, or even a cold, indifferent greeting that stirs a question in your mind. Do they still care about me? But don't be fooled. For them, this attention isn't about you. It's about observing how you'll react. For a narcissist, every reaction you give, whether positive or negative, is a win. A reply to their message, a moment of hesitation when receiving a gift, or even a trace of confusion is enough to make them feel that they still hold sway over you. This reinforces their inflated self-image, convincing them that even though they've hurt you, they remain in control of the relationship. This is why you need to be vigilant and resolute. If you've decided to cut off contact to protect yourself, hold firm. Don't let a seemingly harmless message or a small gesture weaken your resolve. Every time you respond, you show them that they still have power over your emotions. Remember, no bait is ever a genuine apology or a sincere act of goodwill. It's merely a ploy to pull you back into the toxic psychological vortex they've created. To truly escape this relationship, you need not only to distance yourself physically, but also to shield your mind from these subtle manipulations. Keep in mind, silence and steadfastness are your greatest strengths. They provide confusing and overwhelming information. Have you ever felt your mind spinning in a whirlwind of chaotic information, numbers, and complex jargon? A state where you can no longer focus or analyze clearly because everything seems overwhelming? If you've experienced this, you may have fallen victim to a toxic psychological tactic known as intellectual bullying. The manipulator will bombard you with a flood of overwhelming information, complex numbers, unfamiliar technical terms, or confusing documents. They don't do this to provide helpful knowledge or broaden your understanding. Their true goal is to overwhelm you, erode your confidence in your own understanding, and make it easier to manipulate you to their advantage. This tactic is particularly common in fields where there is a significant gap in expertise between the parties. For instance, in sales or service industries such as car dealerships, real estate, or even some medical professionals, manipulators often exploit their professional knowledge to flaunt their expertise. They use obscure terms or complicated concepts to create a sense that you are inferior and need to rely on them. This leaves you disoriented and passive, hesitant to ask questions or request clarification out of fear of being judged. In such situations, psychological pressure quickly surrounds you. You feel as though you must make a rushed decision, even when many of your questions remain unanswered. Your self-esteem can also become a trap, as you don't want to be seen as ignorant or not smart enough. As a result, you are easily guided into making hasty decisions that you later realize were mistakes, sometimes serious ones impacting your finances, health, or other critical areas of life. How to deal with intellectual bullying? First, trust yourself. Don't let flowery words or displays of knowledge shake your confidence. When you don't understand something, have the courage to ask questions and request simpler explanations. Asking questions is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of sharp critical thinking. Curiosity and a willingness to learn not only help you avoid poor decisions, but also protect your interests. Remember, anyone who genuinely wants to help you will never make you feel inferior. On the other hand, if someone is deliberately trying to confuse you, ask yourself whether they truly have your best interests at heart. Stay patient and composed. In any discussion, if you feel pressured or overwhelmed, don't hesitate to ask for more time to think things over. Only when you are confident in your understanding should you make a decision. Finally, insist on clear, straightforward explanations. Refuse to be intimidated by complex terminology. If they can't explain it in simple terms, they may not fully understand it themselves, or they're trying to deceive you. You don't need to grasp everything immediately, but you have the right to understand things clearly. Don't allow anyone to make you feel inadequate for seeking clarity. By understanding these tactics and standing firm, you can protect yourself from intellectual bullying, make informed decisions, and maintain your self-confidence. They exaggerate everything. Narcissists are undeniable masters of the art of exaggeration, always knowing how to turn ordinary stories into dramatic performances that captivate attention. For them, everything is an opportunity to inflate their image, making themselves the center of the universe. Whether it's a trivial event or a modest achievement, they have an uncanny ability to blow it out of proportion, to the point that it leaves others astonished. A minor accomplishment, barely noteworthy, becomes a monumental triumph under their screenwriting skills. A small contribution to a team effort is painted as a pivotal, indispensable role. They always aim to appear as perfect, exceptional, and outstanding individuals, no matter how insignificant the truth may be. They live in a world where everything about them must be magnified to the extreme to ensure they always shine. However, their exaggeration isn't limited to achievements or contributions. They are also geniuses at overplaying emotions and personal issues, especially regarding health or life difficulties. If you mention having a cold, they'll recount an illness if you share that you're feeling sad, they'll quickly hijack the conversation to describe their own sadness as far deeper, more painful, and more tragic. They cannot tolerate anyone else being the center of attention, even for a moment. In relationships with such people, you'll notice that your struggles, pains, or joys always seem trivial compared to theirs. They constantly overshadow emotions with their exaggerated stories, making you feel like everything you experience is insignificant. This doesn't just hurt you emotionally, it can also make you feel unimportant and gradually pull you into a spiral of insecurity. So what is their real goal? Simply put, they crave attention. They need admiration, validation, and even pity from those around them. In their world, they must be the main character in every story. They don't just want recognition, they want to be comforted, reassured, and pampered, no matter how valid or valuable the feelings and stories of others might be. The sad reality is that while they gain the attention they seek, those around them often feel drained of energy. Their dramatic stories not only overshadow the genuine emotions of others, but also create mental fatigue. They make people feel as though nothing can compare to them, that no one can surpass them in their role as the sufferer or the extraordinary individual. To deal with such people, you must learn to recognize their game. Remember, not everything they say is true. Instead of getting caught up in their script, stay calm and grounded. You deserve to have a space where you are valued, where your emotions and stories are heard, without being overshadowed by the dramatic exaggerations of a narcissist. So, we've explored 8 psychological games narcissists commonly use to manipulate and control you. These tactics are not only sophisticated but also incredibly harmful, as they damage your self-esteem and make you question your own worth. But remember, your strength lies in awareness and clarity. When you understand the nature of these games, you gain the ability to protect yourself, uphold your values, and prevent anyone from controlling your mind. You have the right to set boundaries, demand respect, and choose healthy relationships. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit like and share it to help others recognize and break free from toxic relationships. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to stay updated on more valuable content about psychology and personal growth. Thank you for taking the time to watch. Always cherish yourself and choose what truly aligns with your worth. See you in the next video.